What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Warhammer Rogue Trader. Let's get the reading going. You found a consumable. Grenades, stimulant, medkits, and other consumables can be placed in the quick access slots. A dozen pairs of eyes bore into you, the expressions revealing restraint, joy, curiosity, and wariness. Attention officers, you've been granted an honor. Lord Captain Gregor von Valancius will personally conduct today's briefing. Our most gracious Lord Captain is ready to hear your reports. Perhaps you would introduce those present, Abelard? As you wish, your lordship. Abelard points to a tall, slender woman whose body seems to contain as many implants as it does flesh. Vigdis Suriata of the Tolomon line, our new Vox Master. It is an honor to serve, your lordship. The Vox Master offers a deep bow. Aboard this vessel you have at your command thousands of crew members and hundreds of officers and section chiefs. I'm responsible for receiving, processing, and sending all communications between them and you, as well as external sources. I am your eyes and mouth, Lord Captain. Cider is Ravor, the Master Helmsman. He steers our ship along the course set by the Lord Captain and monitors the void around us to ensure that we do not stray into an asteroid field or a pirate trap. The man with the pale, almost transparent skin, large dark circles under his eyes, and a dour expression that seems hardwired into his face gives a sullen nod. Hail, Lord Captain. This here ship's as good as the home to me, so rest assured she's in safe hands. I'll die before I let her come to any grief. And lastly, our high factotum, Generous Donrak, who oversees supply procurements and general material well-being of the ship. Dressed in an embroidered jacket and a heavy-set man with oiled hairs offers an obsequious smile and bows. It's an honor, your lordship. You may trust me with all matters concerning your comfort. Everything will be done to the highest standard. In the second row, we have 3 officers charged with overseeing the ship's vital functions. The Master of Ordnance, who is responsible for the artillery aboard, the Infernus Master, whose crew prevent and extinguish fires on the ship, and lastly, the Drives Master, servant of the Omnissiah, supernatural entity, god of all knowledge, worshipped by the Adeptus Mechanicus. The 3 officers salute you. The Infernus Master does so with confidence, while Master of Ordnance betrays nervousness. The Drive Master offers a salute resembling a dance involving a complicated manipulation of all the text priests, mechadendrites, tentacle-like robotic limb prosthetic surgically attached to the spine. Is that everyone? Unfortunately, our choir master, the esteemed Zachariah Wise, head of the Astropath, a powerful sanctioned psyker who can send and receive messages through space using telepathic abilities, is unable to join us. He's in charge of communications with the distant star system. Master Wise has been in the trance for some time now, attempting to contact our other planets and the Von Valancius Protectorate and inform them of Lady Theodore's passing and Kunrad Voidvir's treachery. I will deliver a report to your lordship on the Astropath's progress as soon as it is possible to do so. All others present are adjutants, secretaries, and deputies. They are here to make a record of the proceedings. Alright, I'd like to hear from the Master Infernus report. Yes, Lord Captain. The tall young man bows his head in deference. I can report that all the fires across all decks have now been extinguished. The preliminary damage assessment in terms of material loss and crew casualties has been completed. It has also been submitted to the Seneschal and the High Factotum. The post passed to him after the previous Master Infernus and his next 3 deputies expired on the line of duty. Abelard remarks in a low voice pitched for ears only. The lad is managing well so far. He can take the heat, so to speak. High Factotum, what have you to report? We're toiling day and night to compile a full account of the losses. The task will require next to no involvement from your lordship. I'll personally ensure that all damaged components are given into the tech priest's hands for attention and that all lost supplies are replaced. There is only one resource that I cannot replenish single-handedly, and that is people. We've lost more than 200 crew members, and unfortunately this number is not confined to the scum from the lower decks. To easily replace it also includes trained professionals. We'll be able to make up the losses on the nearest planet, Rykad Minoris. However, the planet and the whole system, in fact, belongs to the Winter-Scaled Rogue Trader dynasty. We cannot simply begin to recruit on the planet without first coming to an understanding with the governor. In that respect, I am powerless. Negotiations at this level are a matter for the Rogue Trader. Especially true given Caligos Winterscale's penchant for attacking first and asking questions later, and the kind of thick-skulled thugs usually installs as governors on his planets. Dragmaster, I'll hear from you now. Voice distorted by the Vox translator emerges from under the tech priest Scarlet Hood. Lord Captain, the foes that have set upon this noble void ship destroyed the repositories of hundreds of machine spirits. Spirit believed that inherits all of the cult mechanicus to inhabit and control any technology in existence. The great warp engine entrusted into my charge is unharmed, thank the Omnissiah, but its spirit mourns its dead brethren. We have not yet identified a proper prayer protocol capable of assuaging its sorrow and anger. With great sorrow, I must also report the Engine Seer Prime Overseer and the spiritual authority of all tech priests on board fell in battle. The Magos was betrayed by the little flesh that remained part of him, a most terrible loss. There is no one among my comrades aboard whose experience and the comprehension of the most sacred protocols equals that of the fallen Magus. We require a replacement as soon as possible. And someone care to translate this esteemed Drive Master's words? The ship's most senior tech priest, most senior both in rank and experience, is dead. If we do not find a replacement, we will be unable to resolve the problems on the warp engine, answers the Fogmaster instantly without even thinking. So the first time she's acted interpreter between the ship's various inhabitants. Master Helmsman, deliver your status report. Right you are, Lord Captain. To cut the long story short, the outlook is bleak. The ships sound more or less, but with our engines near prime and navigator who fell in battle, we have no way out of the system. If we set so much as a toe inside the warp, I don't know what'll happen. Our warp drive being torn to pieces or all of us melting into the bulkheads. Your Lordship, if you allow me to interject, when we arrived in the system, my crew followed standard protocols and conducted a count of all the available communication channels in the region. One of them was the Novice Nobilite Station, an ancient organization of noble mutant families whose genes allowed them to safely guide warp-capable void ships to the Imperium. The station maintains Vox silence, but even its presence here inspires hope. To locate a navigator in the very same system is an incredible stroke of luck, a true blessing from the God Emperor. A sharp bolt of pain lances through your skull as if in response to what you just heard. You understand that it is not the God Emperor you should thank for such good fortune. The words of the demon that appear before you during the translation into real space echo in your mind. I'm the will of the Weaver of Destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility, the thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. If I were you, I'd grab this chance with both hands, or else you'd be eyeing up asteroids to use as your new residence. In slightly less shitty news, we can go around and around the system till our heads are spinning as long as the promethium and supplies last. And if any thick as Grok's shit lowlifes come sniffing around, we'll be able to take them out, so don't you worry on that score. Master of Ordnance, do you have anything to report? The Master of Ordnance give you a gloomy look. No, my job's simple. Maintain the arsenal and fire when I'm told, but just ask anyone. We've got no able crew, no Lord Captain. Master of Ordnance, you forget yourself. So what? Comes the officer's hostile and bitter reply. It's as if this person inside all of his pent-up emotions are rushing out of him. The ship's in ruins, every second officer's dead, and now we've got a Green Lord Captain who's supposed to lead us to void knows where. Silence. The bridge's magnificent glass panes seem to tremble under the force of Avalar's rule. Enforcers, seize this mutineer. Hey, look, yeah. Don't seize him. We've just had a crazy situation. Dude just smacked him in the back of the head. Abelard grunts. If only one officer... One second, guys. I got a message. All right, sorry. Abelard grunts. If only one officer out of the whole lot has fallen to pieces, that's not bad at all. Your Lordship, I do humbly apologize on behalf of the entire crew. What would you suggest we do with the Master of Ordnance? The former Master of Ordnance, I should say. Besides, find a replacement. That is for what we already have. No. Stand down, release him. I have no intention of punishing a man for a moment of weakness, not after the terrible attack we've just endured. Abelard stares at you unblinkingly at the Master of Ordnance. Cease your sniveling, you disgrace yourself and your entire clan. Enough. The stakes are over. Let us resume. Woohoo! +2. The Master of Ordnance stands up, wiping the blood from his broken nose. This face is a picture of shock, which happens to be dawning on him now. Only now, the knowledge of this fate he so narrowly escaped. To summarize, we have sustained serious losses in crew members and require new engines near prime and a navigator. Is that about all that's preventing us from continuing the journey? Precisely, Lord Captain, but bear in mind that will not be the end of our trials. The footship systems must be properly inspected for major damage, which can only be carried out at Footfall Station, the massive void port at the edge of the Koronus Expanse, a notorious hotbed of vice, trade, and rogue trader intrigue. Home to the only dockyard in the sector, but we will never reach Footfall without first solving these three immediate problems. What can you tell me about the system in which we currently find ourselves? Accede to the Voxmaster at this point, Mr. Stolman. We are in the Rykad system, and our voyage here was undertaken on the orders of your lordship's predecessor. There are 3 inhabited bodies in the system, and our attempts to send Vox messages to produce confounding results. The Novice Nobilite Station has not simply failed to answer, it seems to be maintaining total Vox silence. However, we did receive a distress signal from the prison plantoid on in the system. And Rykad Minoris itself is not responding to our hails, but it is most alarming that our augurs sensor technology and allows void ships to scan planets, spot enemies, and obtain various other kinds of crucial data at great distances, have intercepted signals from the surface that seem to indicate ongoing hostility on the planet. The situation is not very encouraging, but without a navigator, a tech priest, and a new crew member, we won't be able to travel anywhere. Therefore, we must go to the planet and the Novice Nobilite Station and find out what the void is going on. Thank you for all your reports. Dismissed. The assembled officer salute you as one. Oh my goodness. Your Lordship, there is one other thing. A confidential matter of utmost importance. Lady Theodora, your eternally esteemed predecessor, brought the ship here to this system for a reason. She was given a secret commission. You perhaps are wondering what the authority to commission a rogue trader have to do anything. The Lord Inquisitor, the hand of the Emperor, the chief architect of his war in the Koronus Expanse. Came across a strange handwritten letter on Theodora's desk. It was signed XE. You're referring to the contents of that note, I presume. Alright. Xavier Calcazar. Lady Theodora was sent to seek out the Lord Inquisitor's... Lady Theodora was to seek out Lord Inquisitor's right-hand man, one of Henriks von Calix, an interrogator, you see. All I know is that he is somewhere in the system and that we must find him and offer him whatever assistance he requires and deliver him to the football in the Furibundus system. Finding him without any more information to go on would be difficult indeed, but Inquisitor is an important individual. The authorities in the system, either in the Navis Nobilite or in the Governor Regan Minoris, may know something. That is all of it, your lordship. You have a great deal of work ahead of you, but it's the mere taste of the daily burden of the rogue trader. Soon as you must take up the reins of the Von Valancius Protectorate. Abelard gives you another scrutinizing look as if to try to gauge how you hold out under the new mountain of problems. His face softens slightly, and it seems about to offer some words of encouragement. When we get some voice acting? No. Adira, Sister Argentina, explain yourselves. Sister Battle grimly nods towards Adira. The Psyker is suffering from some ailment or dark madness. She insisted on seeing the rogue trader. I judged that it would be unwise to leave her unsupervised. For a brief moment, Sister Argenta's voice sounds hesitant. I was also hoping to approach you with a personal request, but I can wait. Speak when you have time, rogue trader. Okay. Adira's glazed eyes row over the assembled. One word bursts from her lips. Daybreak. Adira, come to your senses. Damn it. She presses her fingers to her temples in desperation. Your lordship, there's the thing. I was trying to see the immediate future and it hit me so hard my head is still spinning. Something very strange is heading our way and I can't make out what it is, no matter how hard I try. A single word is all I can make out. Daybreak, or maybe it's dawn. And it's ringing like an echo, like a bell. But if it's daybreak, then why is it so dark? Isn't Dawnbreaker or Daybreaker like a thing in Warhammer? I can't remember, but it sounds so familiar. We cannot extract any information from the value of a single word. Can you tell us anything else, Mistress Lass? No, not yet. Anyway, the voices are going berserk, all shouting at once. I can't make any sense of it. As soon as I know anything, I can report it, all right? Lord Captain, if you want to take a closer look into your future, find me on the bridge and we can talk to Lady Theodora. And we can talk. Lady Theodora was well served by whispers on many occasions, and I'm sure you'd benefit from them as well. The Psyker's bitten lips stretched into a wry smile. There's nothing else of value to report. I declare this briefing concluded. It's time to get to work. 12 minutes of straight reading. All right. Boxmaster. A thin, pale woman stands out among the rest of the crew. There is a thick bundle of cables coming out from back of her skull and despairing under her ceremonial garment. You can see the grate of a quietly humming vox where her mouth should be. The woman sees you and bows her head in a respectful greeting. How may I serve you, Lord Captain? Ooh. F5. Are we all for now? F5. Let's do it. No, unacceptable. Again. Succeeded. The Voxmaster nods and obediently presses several switches on the device. It is done, Lord Captain. You address the crew with a rousing speech and you hear your voice roll through the ship, reaching even the normally quiet corners of the vessel. When the broadcast ends, you hear distant shouts of approval. Hey there. Remind me who you are. Voxmaster Octavius Victus Suri Auta of the Ptolemon Dynasty. The current Voxmaster serving aboard your vessel in accordance with the Sinistral's orders. I assume the duty immediately upon the demise of the esteemed Voxmaster Septimus, who is my grandfather. What are the Voxmaster's duties? I am the eyes and the ears and the voice of the void ship. I supervise several dozen officers and 3 times that number of support personnel. We receive, send, encrypt, decode all incoming and outgoing messages through the ship's internal and external channels. We also ensure clean communications and optimal efficiency of the crew's Voxcasters. If you ever want to know what worries and concerns your crew are harboring, what are your subjects whispering about in local news networks after their watches, and what their leaders are clamoring about over shortwave Vox transmissions, come and see me. I'll satisfy your curiosity. How have the Vox spirits brought you anything interesting lately? Forgive me, Lord Captain. I have no information of interest at this moment. Why do you look so strange? Sorry. Oh, my appearance comes from my heritage. Generation after generation, people who spent their entire lives in the depths of this void ship. Neither we nor our ancestors have left our home, but the same can be said about many denizens of the Imperium's million worlds. We're used to silence of cosmos and the voices of ships. There are thousands of us, but we dwell far from the Lord Captain's upper decks and remain unseen. We are the Voidburn. Where does the word Voidburn come from? Because we are children born in the void between the stars, beating the womb of a traveling vessel, an orbital satellite, or a forgotten asteroid station, low gravity voyages through the warps and the countless dangers of space travel, everything others hated and dread is second nature to us. I have to get a water. Alright, I'm back. Tell me about the lives of the Voidborn and my crew. To us, the groans, creaks, and murmurs of the ship sound the way babbling brooks and singing birds of the world dwellers. We hear the ship breathe, know what it's feeling and thinking. We are part of the ship just like it is part of us. Perform numerous functions, and there are many officers among our number. Some maintain order and prevent mutiny, some serve as shepherds and support the crew, and some devote their lives to mending the body and spirit of the vessel. Most of the Voidborn are members of a large void ship's dynasties that bear responsibility for a certain aspect of the ship's life. For 300 years, the main branch of the Ptolemy dynasty has produced the ship's Voxmasters, and most of our subordinates come from the cadet houses of the dynasty. How do you find life on the ship? Life's been quite generous to me, Lord Captain. I am the Voxmaster, and only the best in the dynasty can become one. By virtue of my skill and position, no one has ever denied me anything. Our family claims a spacious section for its demesne? I don't know. I also enjoy long walks through the narrowly and dimly lit corridors of the ship, listening to sounds of our activity, falling asleep, and waking to the chanting hymns, and admiring the stars beyond, of course. How do others on the ship treat you? We look, speak, and move differently from the inhabitants of planetary worlds. Our way of life, traditions, and quirks frighten those people just like the darkness of the cosmos. Many believe we are the bringers of ill fortune. Alas, it is the Voidborn who get the blame for the terrible warp phenomena during longer voyages. She hesitates before continuing. 7 years ago, an unfortunate warp jump caused all the food on board to spoil. 15 days later, and a hungry and furious crew nearly massacred everyone on the lower decks, blaming us for the misfortune and hoping to restock the larders with our flesh. I would have been killed during the mutiny had Adira at last not shown up in her right place at the right time. She even came to my rescue, and Skylar's fear of her was even greater than the fear of Voidborn. Looks like you were close friends with Adira. Webs of tiny wrinkles appear at the corner of Adira's eyes, only hinted the Voxmaster smiling. The Voidborn seldom make friends, especially among the captain's entourage, but you see, many consider Adira to be different. I am different too. We have spent many a time discussing Regicide, a human tabletop game played across the Imperium of man, similar to the ancient Terran game of chess, over a glass of Almasec, a potent alcoholic drink of varying quality, widely available across the Imperium. Except Adira changed after one incident, and we started to drift apart. The death of Lord Captain Theodora made her withdraw even more. I do not know if Adira considers me her friend now, but we used to be very close. Very close. It is possible. It is good I can still look after her in my own way. We succeeded in our perception test. I got XP, nice. Interpreting the Voxmaster's emotions based on half of a face and a Vox-modulated voice is no easy task, but you managed to catch an undercurrent in Victus's words. The Voxmaster is not merely saddened by our rift with Adira, she's devastated. If you ever left the ship. Oh, I did once. It was dreadful. It felt like a massive blue dome overhead could shatter at any moment and fall. My bones would be crushed by the gravity. She twitches her shoulders, trying to ward off the flood of memory. So the ship is my home, Lord Captain. I'll trade it even for the bounty of 100 worlds. I see. Let's return to business. That's all. Thanks. I hope somebody in here will actually speak. Let's do the front first, shall we? So these guys are all just, you know, little bridge officer boys. Let's do the master helmsman next, and then we'll check out Argenta. Starman appears before you to be woven from tendons and muscle, blue veins. Wait, sorry. Before we do that, just in case. Blue veins stake under his white, almost dove's colored skin, and his scalp and chin are covered in cropped white hair. His neck and shoulders are wrapped in wires that hint at the presence of neural connectors under his uniform. The officer's face seems to be twisted in a perpetual grimace of annoyance and anger, but he greets you with a respectful nod. Lord Captain, Master Helmsman Raver at your service. Remind you who you are. I am the Master Helmsman, Lord Captain. I stand at the wheel of this here tub, your vessel, and bar commands that the idiots to tend to its related systems. In layman's terms, I'm the one who stops us from running into an asteroid or disruptive gravitational wave when we're traveling through the void. Do you control the ship in real space? Wish that was my only job. I have to steal her to the warp too, but most of that credit goes to the navigator. The warp's a nightmare. I always tossing up something new. After all my years at the helm, they count up for nothing in there. My part's small enough. I just monitor our systems, follow the charted route. I don't kick up a fuss when new orders come in for the navigator's sanctum. Real space, term used for the material universe as opposed to the warp. Now that's where I keep my eyes peeled. Gravitational anomalies, void currents, hard radiation, that kind of shit shows up everywhere. I think the Emperor, the augurs on this vessel are holding up, and so far we've been able to spot if something bad's coming our way. Who are these idiots you are in charge of? There are too many of them to list. All of them. Tech priest from the Engineerium, voidsmen from the auger decks, the work-shy fools on the bridge. I'd have every last one of them flogged. They all need a wake-up call. They need to be whipped into shape or else the ships will be going nowhere. Or even worse, they'll go somewhere we don't want to go. It's enough. Great jar. You're a voidborn, are you not? That I am, but born into the Helmsman clan of the bowels of the Chartist vessel. Studied the family trade until I was 15. Then my entire clan was butchered in a mutiny by lower-hold scum. They spared the youngins, of course. They did. Kids with implanted connectors make great navigational servitors, but I was having none of it. They weren't going to make a servitor out of me, so I escaped into the crawlways, and then spent months picking them off one after another. He stops abruptly. You got me talking about Storm anyway. Yes, I'm a voidborn. Finish your story. He stays silent for a few seconds. Not much to tell. I gutted everyone I could get to and then fled upward to the middle decks. That's where the auger operators took me under their wing. They have apprentice helmsmen of their own up there, you see. Nobody asked any questions, so I stayed. I grew up, trained, got smarter, then ended up in a junior helmsman. A dozen years later, Danrock spotted me and lured me away, the cheeky blighter. You see, you're not the gregarious sort. twitches, which makes a grimace on his face even. Have I done something to displease the Lord Captain? On the contrary, the first person on the bridge who's not tripping over themselves will lick my boots. The helmsman perpetually twisted mouth twitches as if he's trying to smile. Looks rather sinister than friendly. Oh yeah, well, I'm pleasantly surprised to see that you aren't having me flogged for insubordination. Will wonders never cease? Ever points at the cables around him. Connecting wires. Once they get to the control panel, I become one with the ship, except the bloody cogs messed up the wires, stimulus injectors, and connectors when they implanted them. They twisted the wires the wrong way or burned something in my noggin. Anyways, I can't sleep. It just doesn't happen anymore. It's been 30 years of non-stop stimulants and splitting headaches, so you forgive me if I'm not all smiles, Captain. Tell me about the Voidborn. Lord Captain, I mean no disrespect, but you'd better to find someone with an act for conversation like Tolman, the new Voxmaster. Ain't the talking type. I just get the ship where she needs to go. Let's let the folks stick with what they're best at. We can jump into the other officers. Good for nothing wasters, that's what they are, each and every one. Take Generous Donrak, that highborn weasel. He fawns over the officer, but some of the deals he makes would get him burned alive. He drags other people into his schemes so they can all take the fall for him too. One of my junior helmsmen was ferrying goods from footfall for him, caught by the Seneschal and ended up in the void hatch. Donrak couldn't care less. The Voxmaster, another Ptolemy, like the last one, Void Rest him is no better. She cut off half the Vox channels the day she took up her post. Said the Vox systems were damaged and the Enginarium had no contact with other modules. How am I supposed to steer the ship? Collect the cogs, reports with the power of my mind? First officer was Syrian. Can't stand him. Like every Navy officer I ever met, he doesn't know a thing about controlling a vessel in the void, but he puffs himself up all the same and throws his weight around. Me and him have words a few times before he left me alone. I think the Emperor Lady Theodora trusts me more than the Seneschal when it came to helming a void ship. Then there's that woman, what's her name? Class? Lady Theodora brought her along whenever she went, and look what happened to her. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that it was that witch that delivered her an early grave, just like the countless souls before. I don't see why anyone would want that walking calamity on their ship, but some would disagree. They say she's friends with the young Ptolemy, you know? At least she used to be. Do you like anyone? Bravery looks perplexed. What kind of question is that? I like you and Lady Theodora before you. We're in BVOs making cracks about the rogue trader. I don't want to die just yet. Alright, I'll take my leave. Lord Captain. Oh, please, main character, have something to say that's not from me.
Rogue trader.
Oh, thank God. So do you have a personal request for me?
I indeed have a request, rogue trader.
No. The accursed servants of chaos. A malign metaphysical force composed of psychic energy that exists in an alternate dimension as the warp. Who assaulted the ship, took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their post until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in the Von Valancius territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could receive some specialist consideration. Perhaps the rogue trader can meet with the orphans. Yes, I'll meet the orphans. I'll meet with them. No formality needed. Their children are the people who gave their lives for the Von Valancius dynasty. My consideration is the least they deserve. Pass on your instructions. Thank you. Yes. Oh, we're going somewhere. Okay. The motley group of adolescents do not take their eyes off you, gazing at you as you were a creature straight from a fairy tale. Our indefatigable sister has been keeping an eye on these pups. Abelard glances at the gathered children. It's hardly the Scala Progenium in here, a division of the ecclesiarchy responsible for upbringing, education, and training of orphans, of those officers and nobles who have died in the service of the Imperium. But we provide the orphans on a ship with adequate care and instruction. Argentina is standing at the side of the group. At your approach, she perks up and announces her voice ringing. Brave ones, the master of the ship has appeared before you. The one who guides it through the darkness of the universe's emperor's will. Greet your Lord Captain, the rogue trader of House Valancius. I'm the rogue trader. Meet you now, your ships get live. Captain, this ship speak to you now. Your parents gave their lives for a just cause and brought honor to the Von Valancius banners and those in the Imperium. Proud of them, and I believe that you will become their worthy heirs. I'm going to casually address the group. Your Lord Captain greets you, brave ones. Teenagers keep staring at you. A girl remained close to Argenta. Argenta smiles uncertainly. A skinny, pale lad drags their shoulders back and stands at attention like a soldier. Only a few teenagers at the far end of the row seem sullen and not particularly impressed. One of the scowling visitors with a thin scar across his face tosses his head back and says bitterly, "So what? What should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens, so you know a lot and you just give us speeches?" Argenta quickly turns to the boy. A flurry of emotion flashes in her dark eyes like she wants to both calm him and scold him for his impudence. If you have things to say them without fear. I will listen. The boy smiles grimly. It doesn't matter what we say. It won't bring our parents back, and it won't change their fates either. We'll keep slaving away on the ship until we drop and die like our folks or worse. Whoa. Understand your grief. Your parents died. It's not easy to go through, but they may give their lives to the truth, for the good of the whole ship, for the Imperium. Do not speak to the honorable fate with anger and disdain. Heretics killed your parents. Protect the ship. I was there. I took command. I fought and repelled the assault as quickly as I could, but no war can be without losses. No. Stronger power to decide the fate of others. The weak either to obey or die. Seek a different life in lot, boys. Save your grumbling for not the rest about the rest. I'm gonna go with the first one. You heard the rogue trader. His words carry the wisdom of the Imperium. It's hard to say whether or not your words have left an impression on the boy, but he nods slowly and then catches himself and gives you an awkward bow. Abelard gives a sign, and the servants immediately emerge carrying packaged treats with Von Valancians emblazoned on their wrappers. It also appears the Seneschal came prepared for any contingency. Nice. Treaties for all. An odd way to distribute treats, but okay. Argenta rubs her temples pensively. She smiles and offers a few more words of encouragement, and then leaves the boy. Or leaves the bay, one of the two. I don't know which one's it. I've read a lot. I'm so thankful for these breaks. I get to take a drink of water and not die for a second. It's very, very helpful. Because if I were to read slower, we wouldn't get through much at all, would we? Okay, we weren't done down there. At least we have no injuries anymore. That's cool.
Greetings.
Greetings. Tell me about the Adeptus Oriatus.
Gladly.
Oh, thank God.
There are none more faithful to the God Emperor than my sisters. We fight against his enemies by the will of the Holy Ecclesiarchy. We... I beg your pardon, rogue trader. Here I am talking about what every lesser noble in the Imperium knows. So what exactly are you interested in hearing about?
They say the Adeptus Oriatus are the fiercest in their faith among the warriors of the Imperium. Is it true?
It is. The Sisters of Battle are a fire lit by the God Emperor. They are the echo of his voice that travels through the dark expanses of the universe. We bring his wrath to heretics, mutants, and other enemies of humanity. We protect the faithful from the unholy and unhallowed. Sometimes with words, more often than not with a bolter.
Are all sisters truly as faultless as you say?
Even the novices of the Adeptus Sororitas are drawn from among the most worthy. Those who have taken the vows and become a full-fledged sister are the best of the best, tested by trials of body and spirit. Yes, there have been cases when a sister stumbled or showed weakness, but do not expect to hear a story of depravity or downfall from me. Each such occurrence is a great tragedy for us all. Light cannot bear the smallest speck of darkness within. And thus those who have trespassed or shown weakness of spirit are given a chance at redemption. They are called Sisters Repentia, and may the enemy tremble before her, for nothing can stop a sister of battle who yearns to be cleansed of fault and weakness. Wearing nothing but robes, no armor, eviscerator in hand, those sisters who have once faltered find repentance on the battlefield. Their lives are seldom long, but a death in the name of purgation is a better fate than to live with a shadow in one's soul.
What order are you from?
Once I had completed my novitiate, I was sent to the Calixian branch of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, assigned to the Order's Pronatus. The Order's mission is vital and noble. The Sisters Pronatus protect great relics of the Imperium. We guard them, preserve them, escort them when they are brought onto the battlefield or presented for pilgrims to venerate. And we seek out the relics that have been lost. Neither a coven of heretics nor the most wicked death world can deter Sisters Pronatus when their goal is to return a piece of the great legacy of the Imperium into the hands of the faithful.
You said you belong to the Calaxian branch of your order. What brought you to the Koronus Expanse?
The Order sent me to Footfall. My undertaking was to assist the local priesthood of Drusians in caring for a sacred reliquary that had been there since the time of Pastor Mr. Wayne, the station's founder.
Followers of the cult of Saint Drusus, a legendary hero of Agavan Crusade who founded the Calaxis sector for the Imperium of Man. Are there any other members of the Adeptus Sororitas and the Koronus Expanse?
None that I'm aware of, but the Sisterhood's orders are many, and can operate independently of one another, sending their sisters wherever their presence is needed as deemed by the ecclesiarchy. Perhaps somewhere in the Lord Inquisitor's retinue, may his path be blessed, my sisters perform their duty as we speak. I wish it were so. Even a single evening spent in joint prayer and training would bring me joy.
I have no more questions about the Sisterhood.
Should any more arise, keeping them to yourself would be imprudent. It is a virtue to take an interest in holiness.
This episode might go on for a while. We're going to try to talk to everybody on the deck.
About me? I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
How did you end up on Theodore's ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the pirate attack. That story is complicated. It just so happened that I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy. I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, while her crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I'd barely recovered from my wounds when the pirates struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
What happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more, and it's bound to happen someday.
You mentioned making a mistake.
It happens even to the best of us. My mistakes are my burden to bear. I'll find a way to atone for them.
Where did this happen?
On one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
We could go to that planet and deal with the Chaos Worshippers.
The path to that planet was lost. All the knowledge is gone, along with the previous navigator. It would take immense effort and resources to rediscover the route. The heir to the von Valancius Protectorate must have plenty of other issues to deal with right now. Perhaps later, when the skies above our heads have cleared.
What was it like traveling on Theodore's ship?
I hadn't been here that long. Just one journey from Footfall, and the other journey, the majority of which I spent in the confines of the Medbay. I can't tell you much about the first voyage. I was more focused on prayers and ruminations than on the people around me, or the journey itself. During the last journey, Seneschal Viserion stood out for me. He came by several times to ask about my health. He's an honorable man and a loyal servant of the Imperium. I think he is as meticulous in his inspections of the logistics systems as he is in his inquiries about the health of the occasional sister of battle aboard the ship. But not all of Theodora's people have earned my trust. You know who I'm talking about. There is no place for Adira Tlas among the God Emperor's faithful. I'm surprised she wasn't in league with the pirates. And I'm equally surprised by how deep heresy and treason run in this place. I'm glad we all made it through that dark hour. May the day that follows be bright.
No more questions.
As you wish.
What's keeping you in my retinue?
This ship was targeted by heretical pirates, which means that my presence here and the assistance I provide to you are my sacred duty. Sooner or later, I will likely have to return to Footfall to protect its reliquary. But for now, I wish to remain a part of the Rogue Trader's crew.
Pleases me to have a servant of the Golden Throne in my crew. May the enemies of the Imperium tremble before our onslaught.
So they shall.
Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for talking and not making me read it all. I appreciate that quite a lot. Let's get a save in. We're going to try to talk to everybody else.